Okay guys, I just wanted to show you my first soap batch that I made last night. I guess you could call them soap batches. I did a cold process, oven process soap, and then I had a bunch left over, so I ended up just sticking the rest in the crock pot. So I just did a hot process on that. So just want to show you. I'm going to have to unmold this one here, the cold process oven process, and I have my cutters ready over there. And I'm going to show you what the result is. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I took it out of the mold over here, and I guess that's the first thing I would be happy about, is that it unmolded and stayed pretty clean. My mold stayed pretty clean. Didn't want to damage my new mold, my first mold already. So this seems to have, I don't know, it seems to be okay so far. I tried to do a little bit of swirling. One of the things I wanted to note was that when I was blending it, it came to trace pretty quickly, and I didn't even add anything into it yet. So by the time I did add my oils and my fragrance oils and my colorant, it was already at a thick trace almost. I think it was a thick trace, and I don't know. I was thick blending on short bursts for not even 1 minute. I don't know if that's normal. Maybe I waited too long for the oils to cool down, but the oil and the lye water were about 110 and 115. So I'm not sure what mistake I made there. And I wanted to swirl, so I had to move pretty quickly. I didn't get to do the colors the exact way I wanted, but I tried. So let's see what the first batch looks like. If I could take this down. I don't know if I could do this with one hand. I'm going to have to put you guys down and pick you guys back up in a minute. Okay, so I've removed the freezer paper off of the sides, and it came off pretty good. I tried to do a little swirl, the effect I was trying to go for, and this was my first batch of soap. I was trying to do white here, black swirl there, and yellow on top, because this fragrance that I use is Plumeria. So I thought about, you know, the white and the white flowers, and they have a little bit of yellow on them, and I wanted to put a little bit of black swirl in there. And I put a little glitter on top too, or I guess a lot of glitter. I did it, like I said, it went really fast, so I actually took a huge chance putting in these two colors, just in that, separating the mixture and putting in these two colors, and I didn't even get a chance to put any color down here. So down here, that's just all, that's no added colorant, just the black and this somewhat yellow color that I have up top. Let me see if I can try to cut a piece off to see if maybe it got a little bit of a swirl inside. It was so thick, I ended up trying to use a little knife. It was a very tiny knife. And I tried to swirl it, and it was actually really hard to move it inside and swirl it, so I didn't take the chance of it doing it any more than I already did, because I felt like there might be air bubbles or pockets in there, and I can see there's one right here. There's one little, or actually there's a few. Yeah, so I probably shouldn't have done that when it was at, oh wow, when it was at such a thick trace. But I thought I'd try anyway and see what would happen. Let me see if I can cut off a piece here in the front. Actually, I'm better right-handed, so. See if I can, whoopsie, get out this first piece. Oh wow. Well, I guess it's not as much of a swirl as I would have liked, but it definitely looks like a good couple layers. And it does look more yellow on the inside than it does on the outside. So I guess it's just better after you cut them. It smells pretty good too. Maybe I could have added a little more fragrance, or maybe if I let it sit out for a little while, I don't know, to harden up, and I don't know. I wanted to also note that when I left this in the oven for about 2.5 hours, or maybe 2 hours and 45 minutes. And also this one here, I had it in this crock pot right here, and I also left it in for about the same amount of time, probably a tiny bit longer. And everything seemed fine at around maybe 2 hours, maybe because I made such a small batch, but everything seemed fine around 2 hours. Then I went in my room and came back out, and the whole house had this smell. It's a really weird smell, almost as if like there was a gas line leak. And it was, I don't know, it was really odd, because I do have a gas stove, but it's never done that before. So that smell was in here, and it was pretty strong, and I thought maybe I left the oven on too long, or maybe I left that little hot process batch, maybe it went a little too long in the crock pot, and maybe it's just the heat reacting with the soap and everything else that's in it. I'm not quite sure, but hopefully the soap is okay. I try to do that zap test also with these soaps. Let me try it again. I mean, I don't feel really what people are talking about. Usually when I see people do the zap test, they can tell right away. But I can really, what it is, I can taste. It tastes very funny, very not good, I guess, you know, because it is soap. But I didn't feel any initial shock or anything like that. Usually people put it right to their tip of their tongue, but the taste kind of starts getting funny on my tongue after like a few seconds, maybe about like 3-4 seconds. So I really don't know. I've never done a zap test before. I've never put my tongue to a 9-volt battery like they say it's similar to. So I don't know, maybe if anybody had any tips on what that's like. I don't have any pH tester strips either. So that's another reason why I did leave it in the oven and the crock pot for a little bit longer than, you know, because it is only a 2-pound batch, and whatever was in the crock pot is this. Unfortunately, everything had to get mixed in together, and then I just put it in this bowl and tried to smush it together as much as I possibly could. And I don't know, it seems fine. And whatever was left in the crock pot, like these little spots, like were all inside the crock pot. So I poured water inside, and it started bubbling up, and I was trying to, I used a whisk to try and get off all the soap that was stuck to the bottom that hardened up, and it turned into a lot of soapy suds. So I'm assuming that the soap is okay, because everybody says that with the Zap test and everything, usually you can tell the difference between what that shock feels like and, you know, just the funny taste. So I guess it's okay, because I would have noticed what that shock felt like. And I didn't feel that. I just felt like a really funny taste. And I don't know, maybe after a few seconds I started feeling a little something on my tongue, or maybe it's my mind playing tricks on me. But anyway, here's the hot process one that I did. I just stuffed it in this, I guess, like Glad type of bowl. I know that's not going to be a perfect bar of soap, but I didn't want to waste so much extra. This is a lot that was left over. So I just put it in the crock pot and waited a few hours, maybe 3 hours for this one. So I guess I'll take this one out and try to cut it too. So let me get it out of here, and I'll be right back.